The senator from Nevada is recognized.
Thank you. Mr. President, here's a fact that Donald Trump seems to not understand or care about. Families in Nevada and all across this country are being squeezed by high costs. Nevadans are struggling to afford even the most basic things, from groceries to rent to health care. And this isn't just in Nevada. All across the country, housing costs are up, health care costs are up. Even the most basic, unavoidable expenses like electricity have even gotten more expensive. But if you ask Donald Trump, he says affordability, and I'm going to quote here, is a hoax. It's a con job by the Democrats. He even said, and I'm going to quote again, prices are coming down tremendously. Inflation has stopped, end quote. Well, I'm going to ask everybody here at home today, do you think affordability is a hoax? Do you feel like prices are going down? So don't listen to Trump. Just take one look at your grocery bill this week. It's clear he isn't paying attention to hard-working people because the price of your groceries has done nothing but skyrocket. And Donald Trump, well, he ran for president on lowering prices. Since he got into office nearly a year ago, Americans have spent, on average, well over $1,000 more than previous years because of Trump's cost-raising tariffs. He was supposed to lower prices on day one. Well, it's a lot further than day one. So I want to be clear about what these tariffs really are. They're an additional tax on hard-working families, and they've increased prices across the board. Just look at housing. Due to Trump's tariffs, taxes, the price of construction materials, appliances, and furniture skyrocketed, gone through the roof. When you raise the cost of lumber, steel, and other materials builders rely on to build new homes, you slow down construction. And when supply can't keep up with demand, prices go up. And that's not just ideology. That's simple economics. Similarly, Trump's self-imposed taxes have increased your cost at the grocery store. You're paying more for the essentials you rely on most: coffee, produce, meat, so much more. Trump and his billionaire buddies, who probably haven't gone grocery shopping for themselves in years, don't care about the price of groceries. Well, they might not care about paying more. But seniors on fixed incomes do. Parents trying to feed their kids do. Workers whose paychecks aren't keeping up do. And they're the ones being hurt by these reckless tariffs. So Donald Trump may not care, but everyone else I know cares. And it matters. That's why I introduced my No Tariffs on Groceries Act. This bill, well, it's simple. Simple. It would exempt your groceries from Trump's tariffs, meaning the costs won't be raised because of the tariffs. So it's time that Congress reasserts its authority over trade and pushes back against Trump's cost-raising tariffs. Because I know a few things. Groceries are not a luxury. Food should never be a bargaining chip, and working families should not be collateral damage in Trump's reckless trade wars. This hits everyone at the kitchen table. Every person needs to eat. You shouldn't be collateral damage in Trump's reckless trade wars. So let's prove that this chamber can still act on the issues that are most important to American families at their kitchen table. If they care about that and they want to lower costs for everybody, let's pass my bill right now. So, as if in legislative session, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Finance be discharged from further consideration of S-3229, and that the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, that the Rosen substitute amendment, which is at the desk, be considered and agreed to, the bill as amended be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motions to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
The senator from Idaho is recognized.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object. I rise in opposition to S3229, the No Tariffs on Groceries Act of 2025. The reason groceries are so expensive is because during the last administration, inflation got totally out of control. We all know that the grocery prices went up then. Today, that's when the inflation rates were in double digits. I think at one point they got over 20%. Where is the inflation rate today? My colleagues on the other side would like to try to duck the fact that the reason grocery prices are so high is because of the inflation that was caused under President Biden's administration when we blew the top off of growth in prices. Today, inflation rate is at 2.7%, close to the Federal Reserve's target for our economy. That's just a fact that we have to recognize and deal with. Now, this bill seeks to exempt articles of food from the President's IEEPA tariffs. I agree with my colleagues that tariffs generally should be targeted as much as possible to avoid harms to Americans. We also should consider more exemptions to address harms arising from potential unintended consequences, including exemptions for unavailable natural resources. The administration agrees. In November, the administration excluded a number of food items from the reciprocal, the India and Brazil IEEPA tariffs. By all accounts, the administration is working to identify similar exemptions in other active trade negotiations. I strongly encourage the President to pursue productive courses of engagement with U.S. stakeholders in doing so. But voting for one-off exemptions on the Senate floor in isolation of a larger negotiating strategy and broader stakeholder concerns, like this bill, S3229, asks us to do now, does not facilitate a predictable process for our negotiators or for any broader segment of stakeholder engagement. Therefore, I object.
The objection is heard.
Mr. President.
Yes. Senator from Nevada is recognized.
Food should never be a bargaining chip. People's kitchen tables, their refrigerators should never be a bargaining chip. This is not a partisan issue, feeding people in the United States. We should not be mixing natural resources with the essential things that we need, like food. And so my Republican colleagues, if they want to help lower prices, they can start. They can start by this one small act of letting this bill go through. They can help me lower prices right here, right now. So I'm very disappointed. This bill would lower prices at the grocery store for hardworking families all across America. And by stopping it from passing, you and your Republican colleagues, well, I'm afraid you're just telling the American people that their kitchen table isn't your priority, and that Washington Republicans would rather bow to Trump than pass a legislation to lower at least one section of grocery prices and make food more affordable for their constituents. So again, this isn't partisan. People in my state and yours are being crushed by rising costs. And Republicans, Washington Republicans, have the power to do a little something about it, but they choose not to. So if you really want to do what's right by your constituents, if you want to do right by kitchen tables across this country, Republicans would stand up to Trump, to stand up against these reckless tariffs on food, and support my legislation. I yield.